Once again, a game with huge potential was killed by gamers, according to a tweet from one of the Highguard developers, Josh Sobel. But in reality, Highguard was killed by lies. But as always, the developers and the press will dump the blame on gamers and those who make content. Hi everyone, this is Alex, and I've got a few more thoughts about the situation around Highguard. Josh Sobel, who worked on Highguard, after posting a tweet accusing content creators and regular players who played less than an hour of the game of review bombing and hate, he deleted his tweet and his account. Apparently, his sanity couldn't handle the internet. And by the way, it's also very convenient to blame Twitter or X, call it whatever you want, for the hate. Anyway, he only showed his inability to admit the mistakes that led to the game's failure, and just to keep a straight face and stand by his words. It is very convenient to dump a bunch of crap on the players and then just run away. But the internet remembers everything. In the beginning, he says that the day before revealing the game was the best day of his life. But then he mentions the most critical moment that basically led to the collapse of the game. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiments. This is a light in the bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. There's no way this will flop. I want to say that this studio was a team. They came together united by one goal and similar views and ideas about game development. That's both great and the most dangerous thing. Of course, you're going to be delighted with the game, but it feels like the studio completely lacked critical thinking and shown the game to journalists who have access to the industry, who make a living licking the boots of every game they paid for. That's not shooting yourself in the foot. That's more likely letting yourself be mortally wounded and then bleeding out to death. It's a lie that will kill the studio and the game, which led to its demise when the game was finally shown to players with completely different views and tastes. When you beat your chest like this and promote the game by saying you're industry veterans from the creators of Titanfall, Apex, and then you show a trailer like that, disappear into silence for a month, and then drop a game like this, people will have every reason to treat the game at least with prejudice, especially considering that later they removed the mentions of Titanfall and Apex from the Steam description. And even worse, if you have that much experience behind you, how did you manage to make a product like this? And he continues. And since we were an independent, self-published studio built with royalties in mind, many of us were hoping this could finally be the thing that broke the Millennial financial curse. The word independent here sounds like an excuse. Don't try to paint yourselves as a tiny, poor developer who was bullied by the big bad internet. But then the trailer came out, and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative-leaning content gets 10x the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. But you as a developer completely ignore how pompously you announced your game, and then just as loudly went completely silent. I get the impression that this studio simply had no culture of asking honest questions. It feels like the studio lived in a positivity bubble, or just a lie. And here's how he ends his post. Even if Highguard had a rocky launch, our independent, self-published, developer-led studio full of passionate people just trying to make a fun game, with zero AI and zero corporate oversight, deserved better than this. We deserve the bare minimum of not having our downfall be gleefully manifested. You know, you made a game that is just playable in my opinion, but I don't see anything that would describe it as made by passionate people. When a studio hypes up a shiny wrapper at TGA with absolutely nothing inside, and then after the flop, a developer posts about what the studio deserves or doesn't deserve, it's time to take off the AR glasses. Arguing that you deserved a different outcome is meaningless and frankly childish. Did Guardians of the Galaxy deserve to be forgotten? Did Deus Ex deserve to sit on a shelf as an IP and gather dust? What's the point of crying about this to the entire internet? You messed up, it's a harsh lesson. but it's better to learn from it than to delete your account. That's just too performative. And again, you shouldn't hide behind being an independent studio that self-published the game. You have funding and you have connections in the industry. You can make a loud entrance. What's more, you were offered that opportunity yourselves at TGA. If it really happened exactly like that, but it doesn't even matter anymore. You really did manage to break the Millennial course, but not the financial one, the Millennial positivity bubble course. You forgot that people who watch TGA are people who actually care about games. They are waiting for interesting announcements. It's a holiday for the audience, even if in reality they are just shown ads in the form of game trailers. You forgot that by the finale, people are waiting for something really cool, something interesting, not a generic shooter that screams loud slogans at you from the screen. Don't blame gamers. There will always be those who like the game and those who don't. And it can also happen that the game has overwhelmingly positive reviews and overwhelmingly negative reviews. That's reality. You gave everyone a reason to talk about you in a bad way. And instead of talking to the community and doing streams with developers, you went completely silent. Players are tired of an industry that feeds them lies and only sucks money out of their pockets. People want openness and honesty. Highguard didn't live in this reality and therefore deceived the players. Thanks for watching to the end. Subscribe and hit like if you agree with me. Write your thoughts in the comments. See ya.